Once upon a time, not in the land of far, far away, but right here in a busy, bustling town called Makoko Heights, lived a young man named Leke, aka Mr. Chill on the Block. Leke wasn't rich, he wasn't flashy, but he was real. At 26, Leke was that dependable guy everybody in the hood knew. The one you called when your Bluetooth speaker died, your auntie's Nokia needed a new screen, or your little cousin couldn't figure out why his Wi-Fi was refusing to cooperate. Leke ran a tiny repair corner store outside Mama Shade's salon. Just a foldable table, a cracked toolkit, and a plastic chair that had seen better days. But he made it work. He always had a smile on his face, earbuds in, humming to Burna Boy, sometimes flipping to Ashake when the mood hit. He wasn't just a tech guy, he was the guy. If someone dropped their wallet, he'd chase them halfway down the street to return it. If someone's child was locked out of the house, he would stay with them till their mom got home. He wasn't loud, but he was solid. At home, it was all love, though not without stress. He lived in a one-bedroom with his wife, Titi, and their son, Zion, who was barely 3 years, but already had Lake's big eyes and stubborn chin. Every night, after dinner, usually rice and stew, or whatever was on sale at the market, Zion would crawl into Lake's lap with his picture books, and they would read together until both of them passed out. Lake had dreams, big ones. He wanted to save up, get a real shop with glass displays, maybe even start selling his own custom power banks and phone accessories. He had a name picked up already, Zion Tech Hub, named after his son. But you know how it is. Life was life in. Rent was always due too soon. His wife's boss kept slashing her hours, and sometimes the generator would conk out right in the middle of fixing a customer's phone. Still, he never complained. He kept showing up, kept grinding, kept believing. Because when you grow up where Leke grew up, you learn early. You either hustle or get left behind. And Leke, he was never gonna let his family get left behind. While Leke was busy fixing screens and warming up leftover jollof rice, across town in Royal Crescent Estate, where the water tanks were blue and the dogs wore sweaters, lived Tope, the only son of Chief Bamidele, a former senator and one of the untouchable powerhouses in Lagos politics. Tope was 18, fresh-faced, always smelling like designer cologne and entitlement. He was the type to wear Jordans to the corner store and act like he discovered oxygen. He wasn't necessarily evil, but he was the kind of guy who thought consequences are for commoners. He had a brand new iPhone, a PS5 in his room, and a driver named Musa who waited in the car even when he was just getting bubble tea. The thing is, Tope wasn't dumb. He was sharp, but he was also spoiled rotten. Life had never truly tested him. His school troubles? Handled with a call. His parking ticket? Disappeared like magic. Girls? Plenty. Friends? Fake. Chief Bamidele had one rule for Tope. Don't embarrass this family. Whatever you do, don't bring shame to my name. Tope knew what that meant. Keep the partying low-key. Don't get caught. Keep the police out of it. But of course, when you're rich, young, and reckless, trouble has a funny way of showing up. especially when you're busy trying to impress fake friends and cover up your mess. His friends didn't help either. Most of them were licious boys who stuck around for free lunch and name dropping privileges. They hyped him up when he brought drinks, but vanished when he was broke. He knew it deep down, but he was too scared of being alone. He was addicted to attention, afraid of being regular. So, on that one humid Friday evening, Topper made a dumb decision that would flip a stranger's life upside down. He had just gotten paid from his shift at some artsy cafe his dad made him work at for character development. And boom, 3 hours later, that whole 300K paycheck was gone. That day, he had gambled his cafe money away and splurged like an idiot just to fit in. It wasn't just bad money management, it was him trying desperately to feel important. And then he realized he was flat broke and still had to explain where the money went. The panic hit. His chest got tight, and he imagined his dad finding out. He spiraled. He thought about how Chief Adegun would react. He could already hear the yelling. "You blew your money? On what? Are you okay?" He thought, how do I stay clean? Stay golden? Tope couldn't risk it. Not the embarrassment, not the lectures, not the possible ban from weekend parties, or worse, getting his allowance cut. And then the idea came. Ugly, cowardly, but easy. What if I said I was robbed? So, what did he do? He lied. It was around 10:43 p.m. The street had that sleepy Lagos buzz, generators humming, roadside suya sizzling, and okadas still zooming like mosquitoes with speed. Tope sat on the curb outside a corner shop, pretending to scroll through his phone, but he was panicking inside. His account was empty, his pride sinking like a Titanic remix. His boys had all gone home. None of them knew he was broke. They thought he was heading to ball out some more, but he was just stalling, trying to figure out how to get home without alerting his dad's driver, because calling him meant questions, and questions meant exposure. Then his phone buzzed. "Hope you're home. Don't forget you're joining me at the commissioner's branch tomorrow. Be presentable," said his father. He swallowed hard. The last time he embarrassed his dad in public, he was kicked out of the family vacation group chat for 3 months. He couldn't afford another. Then, almost like a joke from the universe, a police car pulled up nearby, lights flashing lazily. Nothing urgent, just that regular patrol flex they like to do at night to remind people that they're around. And that's when it hit him. An idea. A dumb one again, but also perfect. He jumped up, flagged them down, like someone hailing a downfall in traffic. "Officers! Thank God you're here," he said, voice shaken, but make it dramatic. "I just got robbed. A guy pulled a gun on me near the park. He took my phone, wallet, every single thing." The officers looked him up and down. Young, clean, obviously from money. He had I matter energy. One of them, Officer Bala, even stood up straighter, like he suddenly smelled a promotion. "Did you say you got robbed?" "Yes, sir. Just there, by Freedom Park." He was tall, dark-skinned, wearing a black hoodie. Yes, I think he had a beard. Yes, definitely a beard. Did you see where he went? I think maybe towards the waterfront. Please, my dad is Chief Bamidele. I just need to get home safe. Boom. There it was, the card he always pulled when things got tight. Chief Bamidele. The officer nodded, suddenly invested. Within 10 minutes, they were broadcasting the description over the radio. Male, black hoodie, beard, suspect seen heading toward Makoko Heights area. And just like that, the lie was loose. Running wild, hungry. Meanwhile, somewhere just a few blocks away, Leakey had just closed this little pop-up repair shop for the night. He had 1,500 naira in his pocket, a half-charged power bank, and two gala rolls for his son. He was humming a sake and minding his business, not knowing the storm was already coming from him. Leakey was just 5 minutes away from home. He was tired. He spent the day repairing phones and chasing a stubborn iPhone that refused to charge. But mentally, he felt good. He was finally going to settle the rent tomorrow morning. He had diapers and bottled water in his bag, exactly what his wife texted him to pick up. It wasn't a perfect life, but it was honest, and he was doing his best for his small family. Then the night flipped. A flashlight hit his face out of nowhere. He blinked hard, squinting, startled. You there, stop! A police van swerved in front of him. Doors slammed open and four officers jumped out, surrounding him like he just escaped from prison. Guns drawn, flashlights blinding, voices loud and aggressive. Leakey stood still, hands visible and confused. Officers, what's going on? He asked, trying to stay calm. No one answered. One officer grabbed his backpack, tearing it open like it was full of secrets. It was empty, aside from a power bank, some change, and the diapers. But that didn't matter. This wasn't a random stop. The police had a mission. Earlier that evening, Tope's father, Chief Bamidele, had called the police commissioner directly. He didn't want excuses. His son had been robbed, and he wanted someone held accountable immediately. This wasn't about justice, it was about saving face, making a rich man feel powerful, and choosing a scapegoat to protect a politician's reputation. And now, Leke was the one they had decided to pin it on. You matched the description, one of the officers said coldly, even though no proper description had even been shared. I didn't rob anyone, Leke said. You can ask anyone in my neighborhood. I fix phones for a living. I was working all day. The officer ignored him and slicked the cuffs around his wrist like it was a routine. Leke stood there in total shock. He wasn't resisting. He wasn't fighting. He was just confused. How could this even be happening? He tried again. Please, check my phone. Call my wife. Check my Google Maps timeline. I can prove I was here. But they weren't interested in the truth. They were interested in results. They wanted to be the officers who solved the robbery for Chief Bamidele. They wanted his praise, his money, his connections, and maybe promotions. So they threw Leakey into the back of the van and slammed the door shut. As the vehicle pulled away, he stared out through the barred window. The street he knew so well faded into the night. The shop signs, the food stalls, the kids laughing on the corner, all of it were disappearing like it never mattered. He didn't even know who Topper was. He didn't know where this lie came from, but he was already locked in its grip. And deep down, he could feel it. They didn't care if he was innocent. They just needed someone to blame. The station was cold, not physically, but the vibe. Empty hallways, flickering fluorescent lights, painting posters on the walls screaming, "Say no to crime," and officers doing the exact opposite. Leakey sat on a wooden bench in the corner of the room, wrist cuffed to a metal loop on the wall. No one had told him why he was there. No rights, no explanations, just silence and tension. His mind was racing. What is going on? Why me? How do I prove I didn't do this? A big bellied police officer walked in, holding a folder like he already knew what it said, even though it was completely empty. "You are in a lot of trouble, boy," he said, without even looking up. Like blinked. "Sir, I didn't do anything. I was coming home from work. Please, just check my phone." The officer slammed the folder on the table hard. "I don't need your phone. You think you're smart? You think because you can fix iPhones, you can fool us?" More officers came in. One leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Another stood behind Leakey like a shadow. A fourth one casually pulled out his phone and started recording for their records. "Okay, let's make this simple." The big one continued. "A young man, Topper Bamidele, was robbed this evening. Phone stolen, wallet taken. He says it was someone your height, your skin toned, dressed just like you." "But I wasn't there," Licky said, heart pounding now. "I was at work. I can tell you everyone I saw today. I have..." They didn't want the story. They wanted a confession. "Just say you did it," the one in the corner finally said, voice low and dangerous. "We'll make it easy for you. You'll get bail in 2 days. Maybe even go home. But keep lying, you will rot here for weeks before your file even sees a lawyer." Lake's chest tightened. This wasn't justice. This was a setup. And they were daring him to break. "Why would I confess to something I didn't do?" he asked, eyes glassy, but voice still holding strong. "You think we haven't seen your type?" The lead officer spat. "Poor boys who think being good will protect them. You think anyone's gonna care about you when a politician's son is involved? You're lucky we're not charging you for assault too." The room fell silent. Licky stared at the floor, refusing to speak. He could feel it, the weight of the system pressing down on him. It didn't matter what the truth was. It only mattered who was powerful enough to write it. And tonight, that wasn't him. At exactly 10:37 p.m., the noodles were cold again. Maya checked the time, pacing the living room with their toddler sleeping in the corner. The blue glow of the TV flickered across the room, but her mind wasn't on it. Licky always texted if he was running late. Always. She tried calling for the third time, straight to voicemail. Her chest tightened. It had been 5 hours since he left work. 5 hours and nothing. Maybe his battery died, her cousin Tolu offered, trying to keep things calm. "No," Maya snapped, shaking her head. "He always charges it at the shop before leaving. And even if it was dead, he would have borrowed someone's phone to let me know. Something is wrong." Tolu stayed quiet. The way Maya was moving, restless, anxious, and eyes darting to the door, like she could see Lecky walking through. It was more than just worry. It was instinct, the kind that came from knowing someone deeply. She grabbed her keys and slung a shawl over her shoulder. "Where are you going?" Tolu asked. "To the shop first, then to nearby spots. If I don't find him, I'm heading to the police station." Tulu blinked. "The police station?" Yes, Maya replied firmly. As she stepped outside, the air hit her face like ice. Not because of the weather. Makoko Heights was still warm and bustling with late night bikes and voices, but because something was wrong, deeply wrong, and she could feel it. Maya didn't know yet that her husband was being accused of a crime he didn't commit. She didn't know that rich people's reputations were being protected at the expense of her family's peace. She didn't know the system had already chosen its scapegoat. But she wasn't ready to give up. Hey, mama lovers! This brings us to the end of part one. Please stay tuned. Part two will be released in the coming days. Now tell me, what do you think will happen next? Will the truth come out eventually? What part of Lake's story hits you the hardest? Have you or someone you know ever been blamed for something you didn't do? How did you feel? If you've not already done so, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with your friend. Stay tuned for part two.